die Verbrennung der Amerikaner.
What is up, my beautiful mates of YouTube? My name is Aussie Marcel, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 5 fragrances I don't give enough love to on this channel. But before then, it was my birthday yesterday, and I wasn't going to do a video. Well, I didn't do a video yesterday. I was at work, and I ended up getting hijacked by some lads. My cousin Daniel, Dre, Dino, and Frosty, and I ended up having a bloody good evening. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the lads. You know, you actually made my birthday pretty decent, so thanks for that, boys. Anyways, my fragrance of the day, Narciso Rodriguez, for him, Bleu Noir. This is a dark fragrance, but it's also very wearable. It's got a very subtle smokiness, it's musky, but the standout note here is the vetiver. It's got this fresh, spicy quality to it. Also gives it that subtle vetiver smokiness as well. I've never worn this out and not received compliments for it. It is that good. I mean, it's one of the most attractive fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. If you want to like buy a fragrance that's gonna level you up in terms of your maturity a little bit, I would say go for Narciso Rodriguez, for him, Bleu Noir. This is an absolutely stunning scent. It can be a little on the pricey side, you know, $90 plus, but I highly recommend it. It's also got one of the best bottle designs I've ever seen. In fact, it may actually be my favorite design. Is there something about that deep midnight blue, that matte deep midnight blue? Just very classy look. Performs incredible as well, I should say. So I'm gonna start things off. Alright, should I go cheapest to most expensive? Alright. Starting things off with Quorum by Pug. This is a classic old school men's scent. You can pick it up here in Australia for about $15 to $20 depending on where you buy it from. Got a tester strip here. I'll just show you the bottle. This is something that our dads would wear. So if you're somebody that likes the classic 1980s fragrances like Dracar Noir, Cool Water, Ted Lapidus Pour this should be on your radar. Atomizer is very solid. It does smell old-fashioned, so, you know, if you don't typically go for those old-fashioned type of fragrances, this may not appeal to you, but it does smell very masculine. It's got a touch of leather. It's got some florals. It's actually got quite a few notes. It's very aromatic, woody, some musks here as well. If you're a fan of Kouros, Dracar Noir, etc., definitely check this one out. It's very affordable. It performs really good as well. And if you're one of those man's man type blokes, this should be on your radar anyway. If you typically gravitate towards really sweet men's fragrances like Paco Rabanne's 1 Million, this probably isn't going to appeal to you, but if you're after something a little different, a little more old-fashioned, check this one out. Next up, for about $15 to $20, we've got David Beckham's Aromatic Greens. Actually says, a scent like a walk through nature, green, grounded, and a moment to reflect. I don't know what any of that means, and I find it funny when companies put stuff like that on their fragrances, because does anybody really think like that in real life? I don't think so. It's just like a marketing team thing. But here's the design of the bottle. Aromatic, herbal, citrus, some sweet notes up top. Initially, there is this hint of sweetness, this fruity sweetness, and then that drops off quite quickly, like it's already dying off on the tester strip. But what you're left with is almost like a an absinthe quality. It also reminds me of gin as well. It's a very, you know, there's also, I will say, a menthol note, like a similar sort of menthol mint note to this one as well. It's actually one of the best David Beckham fragrances if you're after something that doesn't smell overly synthetic. You get that fruity sweetness for like the first 5 seconds, and then that drops off immediately and it's replaced with something that's actually quite natural, quite attractive. Yeah, Aromatic Greens is my personal pick of the eau de parfums that Beckham has done, the unisex eau de parfums. just because it's, you know, more natural. Like Refined Woods is good, Amber Breeze is good, Infinite Aqua is good, but Aromatic Greens is easily the pick of the bunch. Super young individuals, like, you know, if you're under 20 years old, you're probably not going to love this one. But I reckon anybody over the age of 20, anyone that also likes Calvin Klein's Eternity, they're going to really dig this fragrance. So I'd recommend checking it out. Next up, we've got Guess by Marciano. I bought this for $8 on clearance, and this is why. This is how much has evaporated out of the bottle. I've only used this twice. That is how much evaporation. I've never seen that sort of evaporation in my life. It's actually crazy. And it's also got a dud atomizer, which is a bummer, but it still works. The design itself is nice though. You get an amber sweetness, it's warm, it's spicy. It's got a little bit of darkness to it, like it's not smoky or anything like that. It's just sort of like a mature man's fragrance. It sort of reminds me a little bit of Dolce & Gabbana's The One, but with none of the tobacco. You get a little bit of cinnamon, like there's some cinnamon spice here. It's a very pleasant fragrance. If you're after something just with a hint of darkness, just a hint mature, a little wintry, and super cheap. I mean, Guess by Marciano is, I think you can find it on eBay Australia for about $30, $30 to $40. The initial, you know, the opening for this one does come across very similar to Dolce & Gabbana's The One, just with none of that tobacco, none of those tobacco facets. Yeah, this is a very nice fragrance. This is a very classy fragrance, and it punches well above its weight. It smells much more expensive than it is. Next up, rumors are that it's discontinued, but here in Australia you can still find it for under $80. Bulgari Man. This may be the freshest fragrance on the list, even fresher than Aromatic Greens. Here's the bottle. Got a good design. Very aromatic, citrus, aquatic, woody as well. Hint of fresh spice, hint of musk. Let this one dry down on your skin and you're gonna discover that it's quite ambery and very woody. It's an incredibly woody men's fragrance. But it's like a fresh woody scent, you know, it's almost a contradiction in a way. If you can find it and you're after something fresh, woody, hint of florals, bit musky, I'd recommend this scent. It isn't my favorite fragrance of all time, but there's something about it that I really like, and there's something about it that I think is remarkably average, but I think there's going to be a lot of guys out there that would wear a fragrance like this and you'd be very impressed by it. It's very masculine. A little ozonic as well, you know, it's got that sort of, yeah, like that fresh air kind of quality to it. Super appropriate for the summer. Again, if it's discontinued, don't overpay for it, but you never know, you may actually really like this one. Check it out. You can find this for anywhere from as low as $50 to as much as $130. Shop around, check out eBay. We've got Issey Miyake's new DSE. This is heavily smoky, incensey, dark men's fragrance. It's almost a perfect 10. 12 hours of performance, and just the design itself, it looks incredible. Like, look at that, very dark. I've actually got 3 bottles of this because I didn't want to run out. Amber, smoky, incense, vanilla. Maybe like a hint of leather as well. Some bright citrus notes. I mean, if you like dark fragrances, if you like smoky fragrances, this should be on your radar. This should absolutely be on your radar. It's almost like a little, it reminds me of a church in a way, you know, it's got that deeply religious sort of smoky quality to it, that smoky incense quality. It's almost the perfect fragrance, like, at least for somebody that has my taste when it comes to perfumery. Like, I'd be wearing this over almost anything else I've showed off today, with the exception of Bleu Noir. But my tastes in perfumery are very different from most people's. Like, I would rather wear Issey Miyake's Nude Deity almost every single day and receive one compliment for it than wear Guess by Marciano every single day and receive a compliment every day. Like, that's just how I roll when it comes to fragrances. Yeah, Nude Deity, 12 hours plus performance with 2 sprays. Dark, smoky, vanilla, leather. It's just a great fragrance. If you've ever worn any of these fragrances before, let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. And until the next video, my name is Aussie Marcel. I'll catch you guys around.